We see Mash, our protagonist, pumping some iron and then eating some cream puff to cool off. Mash returns home after his workout session. Mash asked his father why his workouts were only physical. That's when his father thought to himself how Mash had no magic and told him it was a story for another time. Regro needed to go outside and asked Mash not to go outside during his absence. While Mash agreed to his father's request, the moment he got the chance, Mash ran to the city as he needed to purchase some limited edition goblin cream puffs. He was so excited to purchase them that he happened to disfigure the coins with his bare fist. He ended up fixing them, which shocked the worker even more. Although Mash immediately fixed them, the wind blew his hood off and revealed that he had no mark on his face. Upon seeing that, the citizens started to murmur about him. We hear the commentator tell us that the new divine visionary chosen is Rain Ames, a second year at Eastern Academy. The divine visionary is rewarded to the student who demonstrates the highest magic excellency over the school year. Whilst listening to the announcement, see a man reading the newspaper start talking to someone that is severely injured, and claims to have only stolen a little bit. Before receiving even more punishment, he gets saved by a call. The call is news about an unmarked person in the city that reached the ears of the magic police officer Brad Coleman. Back in the city, Mash had an encounter with the magic police Terry, after which Brad arrived at their location. The latter immediately identified Mash to be the unmarked person. Just as he was about to apprehend him, Regro came to Mash's rescue and carried him back home. Brad, wanting to catch them, uses a spell to follow their tracks. Back at their home, Regro tried scolding Mash, but he couldn't as his son was visibly upset by his own actions. Regro then asked his son to do his morning workouts again as a form of punishment. After Mash left, the magic police attacked the Burndead household. This time, it was Brad, Terry, and another magic police officer who was after Mash to put an end to him. As per Brad, the reason the magic realm prospered with people able to use magic was that the government would actively kill unmarked magic-less people. Thus, they needed to do the same and wanted to locate Mash. However, Regro refused to give Mash away. In the past, when Regro was rejected by his family and society due to his low magic level, Mash, an abandoned baby, seemed to be the only being who desperately needed him. Mash, who around the same time had finished his workout and returned home, overheard Brad attacking his father. At this point, he broke down the door and took down 2 of the magic police officers. Mash was fuming that someone attacked his family, so he planned on defeating Brad. In response, Brad attacked Mash with some of his most powerful spells, one that sent a dragon away during one of his missions, but Mash was able to easily deflect them. Mash picks up his father's wand and makes Brad think he can use magic, making Brad put a magic barrier. Mash breaks it by sending the wand flying at Brad, defeating him. Upon experiencing Mash's brilliance firsthand, Brad proposed a deal to Mash. In the magic realm, one exceptional student is revered as one of God's chosen, the title being Divine Visionary. If Mash were to attain the title, it would mean that he is accepted by God. If he can do so, Brad will leave Mash and his father alone in the mere transfer of all the fortune that Mash will receive. Upon hearing that there was a chance for him and his father to live peacefully, Mash accepted the deal as he was to enroll in a magic academy. Mash going to the entrance exam of the Eastern Magic Academy. Only about 3% of the applicants get in, which means only those with superior magical powers. Thus, the exam was known to be very reputed and was set to be conducted by Professor Claude Lucci. As the professor looked out of the window, he saw Mash pumping iron, sitting on an invisible chair, and reading health books. All this created a bad impression of Mash in his head. Later, at the time of the exam, the professor appeared in front of everyone. In the episode, Claude Lucci was hoping that Mash would fail his entrance exam, but he managed to pass each level by some other means. This led to him summoning a labyrinth, out of which each of the candidates was to try and reach the goal in time. Here, Mash happened to meet Lemon Irvine, who tried to trick him from progressing in the exam. When Mash realized this, he ran away. However, when Lemon was attacked by a monster, Mash ran back to her location and rescued her. With little time left for the exam to end, Mash broke through the walls of the labyrinth to reach the goal. However, the other candidates weren't pleased with Mash's methods and started protesting. That's when Lemon decided to reveal the truth as to how Claude Lucci had asked her to stop Mash from passing the exam. In exchange for this, he would admit her to the academy. After the truth was revealed, Claude decided to fail both Mash and Lemon, but Mash broke his wand. That's when Headmaster Wahlberg appeared and took over the exams. He began the final interview session of the entrance exam and took Mash with him as the first candidate. Wahlberg began the interview with some questions surrounding Mash's decision to save Lemon, soon after which he tried to test Mash using his spell. However, even without possessing no magic, Mash was able to pass the test and managed to get admitted into the academy. A kid sitting next to him thinks that he is nothing but trouble and wants to stay away from him. Little did he know that Mash was going to be his roommate. They introduce themselves and we learn the kid's name is Finn Ames. Mash going to his first broom riding lesson after he borrowed a broom from Finn. As expected, Mash was unable to summon a broom when a bully approached him and set a wager with him. The wager would see Mash and the bully race each other. As Mash had no magic, he threw the broom, instantly after which he jumped onto it. No one except Finn could see what Mash had done, thus the teacher and the students believed it to be a world record. The bully believed that Mash had cheated and began complaining when another student, Lloyd Cavill, stopped him and approached Mash. The teacher and the other students immediately felt uneasy as they knew that Lloyd was the son of a high-ranking member of the Magic Bureau. This meant that Mash could get expelled if he tried to defend himself. The teacher managed to stop the encounter. The next day onwards, Mash would notice that his textbooks would be damaged every day. It was later revealed how Finn was being forced to damage Mash's books. However, he felt terrible for doing so and refused to continue. Upon hearing this, Cavill forcefully got Finn to apologize. Mash, who was in search of Finn, saw his friend being beaten up by Cavill and proceeded to help him by smashing Cavill's head to the floor. Vice Principal Farman observed this and decided to punish Mash and Finn for their involvement in the incident. Upon hearing this, Mash started beating Farman, following which he began burying him on the floor as a way to threaten him. Later, Mash was called into the principal's office at the academy as the principal had received a notice to expel Mash. However, Wahlberg did not approve of this and hoped that Mash could become a divine visionary one day as the country needed people like him to stand up to evil. Later, Mash was invited to play in a duello match as part of Adler Dorm against Lang Dorm, and as expected, Mash could not ride a broom. Tom approaches Mash and gives him a rundown of duello. He tells Mash that magic's forbidden, so he must rely on his broom technique. An opposing team's player knocks Tom to the ground and scolds him. The opposing team has a 40-point lead over Tom's, and even worse, his arm is now broken. He tells Mash that it's important for him to give it his all regardless if they lose this match. Mash uses his strength to leap into the air and kicks his legs fast enough to keep himself airborne, baffling everyone. Mash starts throwing the ball into the goal countless times until they have a score of 999. After winning the competition, Mash and his teammates win silver coins. A blue-haired student reads a newspaper about Mash's victory overnight and claims Mash is on his hit list. Tom gives Mash more advice. Lemon wants him to study with her. Mash is disinterested in what both have to say and asks Finn for help, but he's fallen asleep. The blue-haired student, Lance Crown, wants to join in on Mash's conversation with Lemon and Tom. Lance pulls out an ancient bottle and traps Finn, Lemon, and Tom inside. Lance tells him if he wants to free his friends, Mash must come to the forest next to the owl hut. Lance challenges Mash to a duel and wagers 2 silver coins. Tom realizes Lance has 2 lines on his face. He explains everyone is born as a single-line magic user, but some will adopt multiple marks. Double-line magic users, like Lance, are considered chosen by magic itself. Lance tells Mash they'll each wage 1 silver coin in a match. Other duels involving magic are considered taboo in this school, according to Lance. Lance belittles Mash for being too soft and claims he'll win the competition. Mash and Lance fight. Lance thinks he has the upper hand on Mash with his gravity spells, but Mash proves him wrong. He throws a punch toward Lance, causing him to drop his locket. Mash opens it up, sees a little girl's photo, and accuses Lance of being a predator. Lance tells Mash that it's his sister, so Mash returns his locket. Lance dangles the bottle containing Lemon, Tom, and Finn over a cliff and explains how this will lead to his victory. We then receive a glimpse into Lance's past with his sister, Anna. Lance was a clumsy kid who liked sticking up for others. Unfortunately, Anna is enduring an incurable disease that'll strip her mark and magical power. Lance's father tells Lance if Anna loses her powers, they'll have to hand her over to the government. Lance is determined to become a divine visionary to save his sister, and he drops the bottle to use his magic. However, Mash unleashes his hamstring magic, allowing him to retrieve the bottle. Lance realizes Mash is capable of physical enhancement magic, and in retaliation, Mash tells Lance he knows he's not a terrible guy since the bottle he dropped didn't have Tom, Lemon, or Finn in it. Mash rushes toward Lance, grabs the bottle with his friends in, and tells Lance he's not interested in continuing this battle. Lance asks Mash why he doesn't grab his silver coins, but Mash retorts that he's too clumsy to make rational decisions about everything. Lance gives Mash a silver coin to uphold the bet and leaves. The episode closes with Lemon, Finn, and Tom thanking Mash for saving them. Mash finding out how the coin system worked, soon after which he and Finn remembered that they had a potions assignment left to complete. That's when Lance Crown came to their aid. Lance Crown instructed them on how to silence a mandragora and create a potion, but Mash was entirely unsuccessful in the endeavor. Firstly, he silenced the mandragora by slapping it, followed by making mandragora cream puffs instead of the potion for their assignment. Elsewhere, fans were given a glimpse of a new character named Dot Barrett, a hot-headed and obnoxious guy who was ready to fight someone in a blink of a second. At the same time, students of Lang Dorm were seen having a meeting as they planned to steal coins from the Adler Dorm students to become divine visionaries. The next day, the Adler and Lang Dorm students were to take part in a joint class where Dot happened to meet Mash and was left raging upon seeing that Lemon Irvine, a cute girl, was fawning over him. Moments later, the teacher arrived and instructed them to kill forest scorpions and acquire the stone on their forehead, which would win them coins. Just then, Lang Dorm student Silva headed over to Mash and hurt him. However, Mash was much more concerned about the cream puff he had in his pocket. As the class began, the students walked into the forest, and Mash instantly got separated from Lance, only to end up with Dot. Both of them heard a girl scream for help as they headed over to her. Dot rescued the girl and was instantly charmed by her. She used her magic to get Dot to fall for her, following which she tried the same on Mash but failed. As Dot tried to learn more about the girl's situation, Silva attacked them. To his surprise, Dot attacked him with a couple of strong fire magic spells. Nevertheless, Silva was able to defend himself and launched a counterattack, which happened to knock a cream puff out of Mash's hands. Silva telling Dot if he can survive 5 hits from his magic, he'll leave the girl alone and wager 1 silver coin. He wants to extend the bet to Mash, but Dot refuses and says he'll take the hits for both. Dot withstands all the hits but falls unconscious before he gets Silva's silver coin. Dot tells Mash to take the girl and run, but she reveals she's been working alongside Silva. Silva and the girl mock Dot for his wasted effort, and Mash throws a cream puff into Silva's mouth. He demands Silva let him take part in his 10-hit challenge. Meanwhile, Lance worries about Mash's safety and breakdowns down the different types of mages. Before Silva could hurt Dot further, Mash intervenes. Mash unleashes his triceps magic to fight off Silva's stone magic. Mash tells Silva he has 8 more hits to endure if he wants to win. Suddenly, a giant forest scorpion arrives and Silva plans to flee while it fights Mash. Mash flings the scorpion away, shocking everyone. Silva submits, and the girl accompanying him tries to cry her way out of a beating. Mash slams her to the ground because he's not fooled by her lies, and treats everyone equally. Mash collects the starstone coins the scorpion left behind, and reunites with Lance, Finn, and Lemon. Dot apologizes to Mash for the stuff surrounding Silva and the girl. Lance tells Mash that people from Lang's dorm are after Adler's dorm coins. Lance believes a war between the dorms has begun with Lang's elites, the Magia Lupus, taking charge. Something glows in Mash's pocket and with Silva's coin and the 2 extracted from the scorpion, Mash now has 1 gold coin. He tells Mash that Magia Lupus consist of 7 distinguished students, but Lance warns Mash to stay close to friends since he has a gold coin now. Unfortunately, Mash finds himself lost in school the following day. At the same time, Silva gets scolded by Magia Lupus and their leader Lord Abel. Abel confirms they're collecting coins to rid the world of impurities. Abel turns Silva into a marionette with his magic, and we learn that his mother is one too. The episode concludes with Mash accidentally breaking Magia Lupus's door and mocking Abel's mother's appearance. Abel recognizes him as the student that got a gold coin and asks him on why he wants to be a divine visionary, and Mash explains that it's because he wants to live peacefully with his family. Abel explains that divine visionaries are vessels of God's divinity, and if Abel becomes a divine visionary, he will return the world to its rightful form. Humanity flourished because they devoured and used the weak, however now they are sheltering them and fighting for equality. He states that humans are beasts and the law of nature is that the strong devour the weak. Mash understands his words as that he too wants to live in peace. Abel takes his words as hostility, but Mash apologizes as it wasn't his intention. Abel agrees to let Mash go in exchange of his gold coin, but Mash refuses. Abel then attacks him using Silva's puppet. Mash slams the puppet on the ground, and decides to take him to the nurse office. Wahlberg needs to reprimand Mash for his action, even if it's just superficial, and puts him on cleaning the owl's hut for 1 week. 2 Magia Lupus members, heading towards Mash to obtain his coin. The 2 then attack Mash and Lance. The Magia Lupus members then introduce themselves and explain that they are there for their gold coin. Answer again uses Shurikith on Lance. Olor is in his C field. Mash starts punching him and easily defeats him. Lance takes a gold coin from Olor, feeling that if Magia Lupus are this strong then have a chance. Another Magia Lupus member, Abyss Razor, shows up. He apologizes for being menacing, but wanted a small glimpse and is only there to retrieve his allies. Abyss then leaves, stating they will meet another day. Lance takes his words back and states that crushing Magia Lupus would be worthwhile. Outside, Abyss notices that Ash had incredible speed and no magic, which makes him the same type as him.
The mysterious hooded figure from Lang Dorm stealing a gold coin from someone from Orca Dorm. Meanwhile, Lance plans to locate Lang Dorm's location to swipe their gold coins. Lance hands Mash his Adler Dorm robe to help Mash remember the dorm he's a part of. Lemon tells Mash and Lance to follow her to see Tom, who isn't as upbeat or passionate. He tells Mash and the others that he mysteriously woke up in a hospital bed and feels like he temporarily can't use magic. He speculates someone may have drained his powers. Lance realizes other students are in hospital beds. Tom says the others are going through the same problems as himself. Lemon gives Mash a good luck cream puff charm to keep him safe. Lance and Mash patrol the academy at night. Finn and Dot join the fray. They spot Lemon but realize it's a puppet iteration of her. Mash and the others track it down and find a dead end. Dot and Finn hear a creepy creaking noise and freak out. Lance uses his Disclose spell to reveal a secret door on the floor. Mash uses his strength to open the door. They follow the path and find an ancient dueling ground. One of Third Fong's accomplices arrives and says he plans to eradicate them for intruding. This boy tells them to wager coins and challenge him if they want to proceed. Dot challenges him out of jealousy of his good looks. Meanwhile, we cut to Mr. Wahlberg speaking with someone at the Bureau of Magic. This person tells Wahlberg that 6 of Death Row's most notorious inmates from Hecatrice escaped thanks to Innocent Zero. Meanwhile, the boy taunts Dot during their fight. He claims to be stronger than Silva. Dot outsmarts this person and defeats him despite the odds. Mash and Lance get whisked away to different rooms, while Finn and Dot get sent to the same room. Lance meets the 3rd Fong of Magia Lupus, Worth. Dot and Finn meet the 5th and 4th Fong, Love. and Milo. Mash meets the mysterious person who saved Olor and Answer. He's the second Fong of Magia Lupus, Abyss Razor. Abyss tells Mash he can't use magic but has his reasons for being here. Worth overwhelms Lance and tries to convince him to join Magia Lupus. Lance objects, telling Worth he's second-rate, and they continue fighting. Despite having Worth on the ropes, Worth believes he's superior because of his background and history at Easton. Worth pulls out a capsule of magical essence extracted from other students and drinks it. This gives him a power boost. He gives a spiel on second magic and says only a few double-liners can pull it off. Worth believes Lance is weaker than him because he hangs around flunkies. Lance refutes Worth's claims and defeats him. Worth recalls a memory with his father. Worth's father says he'll always be worthless to him, even if he were to enter the bureau. Lance hands Worth his reference book and claims how they share similar lives. Although Lance doesn't like how Worth is as a person, he respects his effort and leaves Worth to contemplate. Meanwhile, Mash fights Abyss and Abyss uses his accelerated magic to weaken Mash. Abyss finds Mash's goals revolting despite his situation being similar to his. Abyss asks Mash to go all out and whips out a device that drains magic power. Abyss says Lemon will lose her magic forever alongside her mark in 30 minutes. Abyss continues their assault on Mash and stabs him. Mash uses his abdominals to grab Abyss's sword and headbutts him. Mash asks Abyss about his red eye, and Abyss explains it's called an evil eye. This eye temporarily disables the magic of all who fall under its gaze. Abyss says he's the natural enemy of magic users and has been feared and despised his whole life. Abyss casts a force field and attacks Mash. He explains his opponent's speed decreases within this realm, and he inherits their speed in return. Mash punches the floor to narrow Abyss's movement route, allowing him to use different bodily named combos to defeat Abyss. On the ground, Abyss contemplates his past and wishes he was born normal. He was useless to his parents and now feels Lord Abel will think of him similarly. Mash asks Abyss to become friends, but Abyss feels he'll one day grow to hate him like the others. Abyss warns Mash not to fight Lord Abel because what he saw from him wasn't his true strength. Mash says he plans to fight Lord Abel and says he doesn't mind Abyss's evil eye powers. Love asks the boys numerous times if they think she's cute. If they think otherwise, she plans to destroy them. Dot says he has interests in a different girl, so Love continuously attacks him. While Dot's struggling to fight Love, she informs them that Milo will turn specific people who open the door to stone. Love warns Dot and Finn if they don't defeat her or Milo in 30 minutes, Mash will turn into a statue. In a flashback, Dot recalls when his sister motivated him to stand up for himself. With this memory, Dot awakens his Ira Cruz, a mark that'll amplify his powers to cross a specific threshold when his emotions spike. Love surrenders due to Dot's might, enticing Milo to jump back into the fight. He tries hurting Finn with his stone creature, but Dot sacrifices himself to avoid Finn getting hurt. Dot realizes Milo gave up on his petrification spell to fight them instead. Suddenly, the Divine Visionary and Adler Dorm's ace, Rain Ames, arrives and makes short work of Milo. Rain starts beating Milo senselessly to get details out of him while Love switches sides and joins Adler Dorm. Rain tells Dot and Finn to get out while Dot's confused about why Rain's here in the first place. Afterwards, Rain walks somewhere and looks for Innocent Zero's pawns. He runs into Mash and thinks he's one of the pawns. Rain summons an arachnibus that'll judge Mash's magic power levels to see if he's an ordinary user or someone dangerous. After defending himself from Rain's partisan magic, the spider learns Mash has zero magic capabilities. After guarding himself from Rain's other attacks, Rain asks Mash for his name. He recalls Wahlberg's words about a unique student he wanted Rain to look after and realizes it's Mash. Rain apologizes to Mash and hands him a magic kerchief that will heal his wounds. He warns Mash about Lord Abel and says without magic he'll be toast. Rain tells Mash to give it everything he's got to become a Divine Visionary candidate and leaves to continue his Innocent Zero mission. The episode closes with Mash visiting Lord Abel. Lord Abel being surprised that Mash defeated Abyss and complimenting him about his potential superiority. However, Abel wants to dispose of those who can't wield magic and those who shelter the weak. After Mash announces he can't support Abel's ideals, Abel attacks Mash with his puppets while Love stumbles upon the two fighting. After Mash defeats his army of puppets, he asks Abel what he did with Lemon. Abel doesn't give Mash a solid answer and confirms he's draining other students of their powers. Abel says he has a right to take from the weak and sends another batch of puppets to fight Mash. Mash defeats them with a swift punch, and Abel acknowledges his growth. Mash says after he beats Abel, he wants Abel to tell him what happened to Lemon. Abel sends Finn, who has been turned into a puppet, to fight Mash. Although Mash takes a beating from Finn, he uses his gold coin to break Abel's strings controlling him. Finn transforms back into his former self. Mash delivers a swift attack at Abel, and Abel uses a spell that transforms Mash into a puppet. Abel searches Mash's robe and thinks he has Mash's gold coin. However, it turns out to be a cream puff, and Mash attacks Abel and returns to being human, baffling Abel. Abel speculates Mash's spinal reflex kicked in, allowing him to attack Abel while under his control. Abel unleashes his final spell, Marione's second, Harm Puppet, which can transform anyone into a puppet within a 100 radius when its invisible strings touch them. Abel says these strongs will disable bodily control, so Mash can't rely on his spinal reflex to save him. Mash defeats Harm Puppet with ease, shocking Abel. Love says once Mash felt the string make contact with his left side, he grabbed and snapped them before he lost control of his right side. Mash destroys the remaining segments of Harm Puppet and uses his Hell Fall technique to defeat Abel. Abel reflects on his past after being slammed into the ground by Mash. Abel reveals his mother's kind nature to the audience and says she got stabbed for caring for the underprivileged. Abel says his mother's demise led him to seek the best talent for his plan. Abel promises to revert the students to their human forms since he lost to Mash. Mash tells Abel he's not a bad fellow since he did all this for his mother. Abel frees everyone, and Mash celebrates his victory with Lemon and Finn. Lemon thanks Mash for saving her while Dot rushes over to join them in cheering. Meanwhile, Rain finds Lance and attacks him. It turns out this isn't Lance but Innocent Zero. Zero confirms they're searching for something important in the school. Zero admits that he entrusted Abel to find this thing but plans to kill him since they deem him useless. Zero flees and his partner, Jean-Pierre, prevents Rain from pursuing them. Rain argues that Zero's power is on par with the Divine Visionaries and that nobody will stand a chance against him. The episode closes with Mash and his friends cheering while Zero heads their way.
Suddenly, Mash excused himself to go to the bathroom. Just then, the man Rain encountered, also known as Cell War, arrived. He saw Abel's injuries and thought he must have lost the fight. Cell War felt Abel was weak but thanked him for giving them information about Wahlberg Bygone. Then, Cell used his magic to make Abel start choking himself. At that moment, Mash returned with some delicious cream puffs to share. But a fly landed on Mash's nose, making him sneeze and accidentally throw the cream puffs at Cell. Mash asked Cell to give the cream puffs back, but Cell just threw them on the ground, shocking Mash. Suddenly, Cell felt a headache, a signal for what he had been searching for, and realized it was coming from Mash. Cell was surprised to find out that Mash was the person they had been looking for, but decided to kill Abel first. Using his magic, Cell conjured a giant spike ball, but Abyss stepped in front of Abel and took the hit. As Abyss was pierced by the spikes, he apologized to Mash that they wouldn't be able to eat the cream puffs as promised. Mash then went up to Abyss and gave him a magical handkerchief. Cell was surprised when his attack didn't kill Abyss. Then he realized that Mash had thrown a rock at him just before he cast his spell, changing its direction. Mash got angry and attacked Cell with a rock, but that was small fry for Cell. Cell attacked with sharp carbon spikes using Carbo Rain, targeting Mash and Abel. Mash defended himself, breaking the spikes, but Abel believed Mash had no chance and called Abyss foolish for trying to protect him. Curious about Mash's power, Cell asks him what magic he used. Mash thinks about his answer and simply says power. Cell is okay with Mash not revealing his secret. Then, Cell reveals the Spellflexion Mirror, a feared magical item that reflects any spell cast at it. Dead recognizes the mirror and warns Mash not to fight it because it will reflect his spells and potentially kill him. So Cell taunts Mash to attack him and he got exactly what he asked. Without hesitation, Mash kicks and shatters the mirror. Mash's friends, for this first time, suddenly realize that he didn't use magic and all the time he's done some insane stuff, it was with his body. Cell notices a strange symbol on his hand, and he figures out it's because he touched Mash. Suddenly, a mysterious force grabs Cell and he quickly excuses himself, saying he has an errand to run but promises they'll meet again. Mash is relieved that Cell is gone and suggests taking Abyss to the infirmary. However, Abel informs him that Abyss is doing well because of the handkerchief Mash gave him and offers to take Abyss to the infirmary, thanks Mash and promises to repay the favor. Mash's friends are amazed that he didn't use magic, but they're worried because if people find out, he could be expelled. Mash starts trembling and admits that he can use magic. His friends assume he must have a good reason and decide to protect his secret with all their might. Suddenly, one of the students who was previously captured by Abel wakes up and overhears everything. The student plans to report to the teachers. Surprisingly, Mash remains calm, accepting that his secret is out. This surprises his friends, leaving them curious about his next move while he simply eats a cream puff. Later, Cell returns to Innocent Zero and informs him that he has found what they were looking for. Innocent Zero realizes that his wish is about to be fulfilled and instructs Cell to retrieve it.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.